Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Main suspect in triple murder in St. James in police custody. Fisherfolk in Portmore wants immediate cleanup of new causeway fishing village. And later in sports, Windies continue to struggle in first test against England at Lord's. Thank you for joining us. I'm Shane Masters and here are the details. The police have made a breakthrough in their investigation into the murder of 3 men on Upper King Street in St. James on Wednesday. The main suspect, 32-year-old John Lee Roach, has surrendered to the authorities. According to head of the St. James Police, Superintendent Aaron Samuels, Roach turned himself into the Falmouth Police yesterday.
The St. James Police officers, after the operation yesterday where 2 firearms were recovered, relentlessly pursued the suspects within that case, and we were informed this afternoon that John Lee Roach turned himself in to the Falmouth Police Station. He is a person of interest in that triple murder. Also, he is wanted for shooting with intent with the police officers yesterday. Also, he is also wanted for a murder in Hanover and also a shooting with intent that he had absconded bail for.
The victims of a triple murder have been identified as 17-year-old Jaden Bennett, 26-year-old Rashawn Williams, and 62-year-old fisherman David West.
We also have interest in a second suspect, Kashim Lewis, OC Borderline. He is the other person that was implicated in the triple murder yesterday evening. We want the public to assist us in locating this suspect so we can bring him to justice.
A car dealer was shot and killed in land settlement near Royal Flat, Manchester Wednesday night. According to reports, minutes after 9, he was at his house with 2 females when they were abducted. TVJ News understands that all 3 were taken to a heavily vegetated, secluded area along an abandoned bauxite mining haul road in the community. It's alleged they were tied up and the car dealer shot and killed. It's not clear the females, one of them a teenager, were physically hurt. 3 vehicles were reportedly stolen from the house by the robbers and the house ransacked. Opposition leader Mark Golding says no parliamentarian from the opposition benches is being investigated for illicit enrichment by the Integrity Commission. His declaration comes after the Commission, in its 2023-24 annual report tabled in Parliament on Tuesday, said 2 additional parliamentarians were being investigated for the offence. This brings to 8 the number of parliamentarians identified as having unexplained wealth in their statutory declarations. Mr. Golding said he consulted with all 22 parliamentarians, both members of parliament and senators, and each confirmed that he or she is not aware of being under investigation. He noted that the Integrity Commission has maintained the confidentiality of those under investigation and informed the individuals of their status. Mr. Golding says the opposition remains committed to cooperating fully with the Integrity Commission in its mission to ensure integrity in public life. He has called for all parliamentarians to uphold the highest ethical standards. Maintain the area or relocate us. That assertion from fisherfolk from the new causeway fishing village in Portmore. They are unable to go out to sea because they now have to wait until the debris from Hurricane Beryl is cleared by the authorities. Karen Simpson has the details.
It's not the first, second or third, but the 4th time these fishermen from New Causeway Fishing Village in Portmore have been unable to go to sea after a heavy downpour.
All the debris from up all the way in Bagwalk, Linstead, washed from the Rayakobe area, and this is where it lodged.
This location that we are in is not just a matter of garbage alone that prevents us from going to sea. All kind of tree chunks, tree root, bamboo from the country that come through the river. So you see, this area is a settlement feat when every time the river comes down and hard rain or anything like that. So it's just a desolate location we are in. It's just a matter of rubbish alone, you understand? And that is a great problem, because if we could even go through the plastic buckle them and thing, we can't go through the tree chunk them, but like light posts and them something, and the tree root them mash up the engine and something there.
The fishermen say since the fishing village was relocated to that area, this has always been the case. The men say whenever the river comes down, sometimes it takes months before the area is cleaned, which hampers their livelihood.
This always happens even before we come here. When this kind of weather happens down here, it's always like that. You understand?
We are not reading out relocation as the land down here is very flat and all the debris come up. Thousands of tons of debris came down on here. But the suitable location will be anywhere from Matalanki to the Fort Augusta prison, which abandoned. Anywhere between that area.
As even the mud down here that we have to walk in to go in the boat, it's rotting out to our toenail. We don't have a toenail left now. You understand? Pear germs, a regular fisherman have to go to the doctor for medication because it broke out all kind of things on them skin.
Our news centre spoke with CEO of the National Fisheries Authority, Gavin Bellamy.
I will be making a report on this beach and other beaches around the island. The rest of the NFA staff has already gone out and doing evaluations around the island. Some, even though they have personal distress, they are out on the road checking what's happening with the fishers and fish farmers.
Carrie-Ann Simpson, TVJ News.
Councillors in Portmore St. Catherine are appealing for the urgent release of funds to help residents affected by Hurricane Beryl. Krista Campbell reports.
Under a directive from former Works Minister Everald Warmington, representatives from the National Works Agency (NWA) were no longer mandated to attend monthly municipal corporation meetings. The argument was that the employees often faced strong verbal attacks from councillors. The councillors and mayors have been complaining about the move, as well as the infrequent attendance of representatives of the Jamaica Public Service and National Water Commission. And at the first meeting of the Portmore Municipal Corporation since Hurricane Beryl passed,
I'm very, very disappointed to see after a hurricane that has impacted the municipality so badly, and none of the agencies are here to tell us the magnitude of some of the damages, the restoration work. Bearing in mind, Your Worship, that residents call us every single day asking us about the restoration work that is being conducted in Portmore.
Let them aware that we are expecting them, and after that we will be sending a letter to the ministers for these agencies that's supposed to attend our meeting.
The mayor and councillors stressed that the hurricane created great need for relief supplies.
Houses lose their roof, and a lot of collapsed walls or drain walls, and we have a lot of trees that blown down and cause some inconvenience to our citizens of Portmore and loss of crops.
People are asking for assistance with tar, cement, window, doors, etc. I want to revisit, Chairman, the social housing program that we have gotten little or no support from the ministry on, Chairman.
We have submitted an estimated figure of $50 million to the Ministry of Local Government, and estimate is still being done across the municipality. We have not yet received any money from the Ministry of Local Government.
More than $252 million in additional funds has been allocated for all 63 constituencies to help with hurricane recovery. Krista Campbell, TVJ News.
With more rainfall in the forecast, residents of Pedro River in St. Ann are growing increasingly anxious about a rising river level that poses a threat to their homes and community. Sandra Williams picks up that story.
This is not a pond. It's the Pedro River, still in full spate in southeast St. Ann, 1 week after the passage of Hurricane Beryl.
That water coming from way up in Savannah, and there are 3 rivers. I understand that our Cave Valley River also meet when it's all raining, and so all come down to Pedro River, and then it covers the whole entire community, where we have to get boat to really travel back and forth.
The river is mere meters away from the main road and houses which are perched on one of its banks. With 13 hurricanes and 4 to 7 major hurricanes of Category 3 or higher in the forecast, residents are worried that the river will soon take over their community.
The river coming down harder and harder. So likely by now on weekend, it might come across the road.
To get to where the source is, it's hard to get across because all of the road is blocked off.
I'm very concerned about if we should move back and forth to get our food. Because, you know, we don't have money to buy a lot of food to store. So, you know, it will hinder us from travel back and forth.
When it come up, we have to go through the hills to go in the square, but still we have to be careful of what's going on. Somebody gonna go down, if not the water.
So we have to really get to the MP, the councillor, and whatever to really assist us in whatever needs.
According to the parish disaster coordinator, there are 84 emergency centers across St. Anne. Sandy Williams, TVJ News.
And it's time for a break here on the Midday News, but stay with us, more stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. And it's now time for the Business Minute.
Trinidad and Tobago-based conglomerate A.S. Bryden & Sons Holdings has acquired a 44.8% stake in food and premium beverage distributor Caribbean Producers Jamaica. A.S. Bryden is owned by local manufacturing and distribution firm Seprod. The acquisition represents more than 20% of the issued share capital of CPJ. Chairman of A.S. Bryden, P.B. Scott, says the stake in CPJ will give the company additional scale and expand its geographic footprint beyond Trinidad, Barbados, and Guyana. The company says it intends to hold controlling interest in CPJ in the future. BMW is recalling more than 390,000 vehicles in the US because the airbag inflators could explode in a crash. The recall includes 2006 to 2012 model year BMW 3 Series sedans and sport wagons. The faulty airbag inflators have reportedly killed at least 27 people and injured at least 400 in the US. Takata issued a recall for the airbag inflators outside of the US earlier this year. And the UK economy grew by 0.4%, rebounding from zero growth in April. Construction grew at the fastest rate in almost a year in May, with house building and infrastructure projects boosting the industry. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Halshane Burke.
Time now for the top regional and international stories. And we head to a quick break. When we come back, Spencer Donington will have your midday sports report.